Why did they raid the homes to begin with? Obviously, they had a lot of information and probably were planning this for quite some time.
I believe they were, Christina. I think this all started with that lawsuit that we talked about in November when Cassie sued Diddy.
What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Goontarin God. I'm back with another video. If y'all like to be a part of the community, please join the Reddit, please join the Discord. It'll be a link down in the description below. And also, I've been working on some new thumbnails, to make them a little bit more unique. So when people see my thumbnails, they'll already know who it is. So please let me know how y'all feel about that in the comments down below. All right, so I've been paying attention to the whole Diddy case lately. And this is just reminding me once again about what happened with Jeffrey Epstein or whatnot. And I just believe that people like P Diddy, people like Jeffrey Epstein and his wife are just fall guys, They're just pawns in this whole conglomerate that Alex Jones has been talking about for years and years now. Whenever the Jeffrey Epstein thing was going on, they literally had a whole list. And not one of those people had been brought forth yet. Like, Jeffrey Epstein was the only person who suffered and supposedly died from offing himself in jail or whatnot. But, that's another story for another time. But nobody on the list. We clearly had a whole list of these dudes that were visiting this island, and not one of them have been in prison yet. He was the only person that suffered and actually had crimes brought forth to him. And now we're hearing this again with P Diddy. He supposedly was doing these things in like the Virgin Islands or whatnot, and supposedly he has like camera footage and blackmail against like a whole bunch of celebrities and politicians or whatnot.
You and I talked about how incredibly foolish it was for Diddy not to settle the case before the allegations became public. And he settled it the very next day, and apparently the parties were about $10 million apart. But Cassie was with Diddy for a decade, and she knew where the bodies were buried, and she spilled it all out. And that encouraged other victims to come forward. And there was lawsuit after lawsuit alleging that Diddy and others had engaged in sex trafficking.
As many of y'all might not know, a lot of the time the state and politicians are involved and complicit with these things that are going on. If y'all have heard of this new documentary, well, it's not too new, but it recently came out on Netflix. It's called The Program. And it's not, dealing with sex trafficking too much, but it's just dealing with human trafficking. And, this is dealing with like the boarding schools that we always hear horror stories about. But this just brings light, and it just shines light on how the state is clearly involved and complicit. And we literally have laws that protect human trafficking in this country. And it's just absolutely insane how like the public knows about all this stuff that's going on, how they clearly have evidence, but these people will never be brought forward for charges because they have other things in place that are protecting them. And when it comes to this P Diddy case, yes, I think P Diddy is guilty. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but I'm just like, why are they trying to blame on one person? Obviously, there's not one person to blame in this whole grand scheme. He doesn't have that much control. P Diddy doesn't have that much power by himself as a single person. He does not have this much power. He's been backed by powerful people, by powerful entities, and we need to pay more attention and dive deeper and pay way more attention to the people that are around him, the people that are actually funding this and, allowing these things to go on.
So now it's gone from a civil lawsuit, which is about money, to a full-blown criminal investigation, and a very serious one that's based out of the Southern District of New York, probably the most prestigious prosecutor's office in the country. And federal agents executed 2 search warrants, one in Miami and one a mile away from where I live here in Los Angeles, with a lot of armed federal agents who went into the home, and they're looking for evidence of criminal activity, primarily sex trafficking, like you talked about, Christina.
My thing is, if we get distracted by a squirrel, which in this case, the squirrel is P Diddy, then we'll never take down this system, that we're seeing going on with Nickelodeon, that we just keep on seeing going on in the entertainment industry. We'll never actually take down a system in place that is actually allowing this human trafficking and the sex trafficking to go on.
Drake Bell speaks out about the sexual abuse he suffered at the age of 15. The former Nickelodeon star appears in the new documentary Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV, which investigates the experiences of former child stars who worked on Nickelodeon shows produced by Dan Schneider. According to Today.com, Drake tells his story for the first time publicly, reportedly revealing he was the unnamed minor in the 2004 sexual assault conviction of acting coach Brian Peck.
And I mean, we can clearly see it, with these politicians and with these people that are in office right now, with Joe Biden. Joe Biden is literally the biggest human trafficker ever to exist.
There's another horrific crime occurring as a result of Biden's refusal to enforce the immigration laws, because of Biden's open invitation provided to the cartels to smuggle across our border victims of human trafficking and to continue to perpetuate that human trafficking across America.
Look how many migrants he's letting flow over this border right now. He's clearly taking advantage of these people. He's not, just letting these people come over because he cares about them, seeking freedom or whatnot. No, he's taking full advantage of these people and their kids that are coming over here. And, we just need to put an end to this, man. We need to look deeper. Don't get distracted by the squirrel. Look deeper into situations like this. And hopefully we can just try to put a stop to this and an end to this. But honestly, in reality, I don't think that this will ever end. I think that things like this will continue because people are distracted by the squirrel. They just pay attention to the squirrel that's in front of them and they don't see everything else that's going around. People are just stuck in first person mode in this world.
Other crimes as well, add gun and firearms charges, and we're talking about someone who may spend decades in federal prison like R. Kelly. And this is why, under federal law, if someone is convicted of even one count of sex trafficking, it carries a minimum 10 or 15-year prison sentence minimum. The judge can't go any lower for each count depending on the age of the victim.
So there is a potential that Diddy could spend the rest of his life in prison.
Oh, very real possibility. I wouldn't be surprised if this is another Jeffrey Epstein or an R. Kelly type case where we're talking about multiple victims across multiple jurisdictions over a significant period of time.
Situations like this are completely disgusting. How our state, how our politicians are just so complicit in this nonsense. We got people like Prince Harry who will never be charged, obviously. And, we got people like Joe Biden who, people will be like, oh, no, he's just a president. He's not involved in this. But, we got major players in this game who will never be brought forward, for what they're allowing to go on. And not only the United States, but around the world. And, this is just absolutely crazy. This stuff isn't too shocking, especially from the information that Alex Jones has continually brought us, especially in the past before they diminish this man's name. But, Alex Jones used to talk about stuff like this all the time. And, it's just crazy that we still have this stuff going on in our world. But y'all definitely let me know how y'all feel about this. Are y'all distracted by the squirrel? Do y'all think that, P. Diddy is the only person that, is guilty in this case? Or do y'all think that this is, something that is way bigger than P. Diddy? And do y'all think that anything will ever happen to it? Or will this system of human trafficking and of real sex trafficking, just continue to thrive? Or do you see it coming to an end? Please let me know down in the comments below. And please let me know how y'all feel about the new thumbnails. I'm always here for y'all's advice. And if y'all would like to be a part of the community, please join the Discord, please join the Reddit. It'll be a link down in the description below, and I'll catch y'all on the next one, all right?